If you have around $850 or are interested at what PC can be built for this price, then this video is for you. This all Intel build works very well together to achieve solid gaming and productivity performance as well as aesthetics. However, I will say this PC was built before the RAM and SSD prices have gone up, but with Black Friday coming up, a lot of these other parts will be seeing a sale coming. So I guarantee you can build this PC comfortably under $900, but I think $850 is possible. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into building this thing. Alright, so in this build, we're going all Intel here. About the i5-13600KF. And the reason I went for the CPU is because I got it on a decent deal a while back. Right now, it's hard to find a good deal on this one specifically. There are other options for CPUs here. But yeah, this is a very solid CPU. It's compared to the 7600X and the 9600X, but it's better for productivity. And I guess we'll see how this combination works. And with our motherboard, we have an open box B760M from ASRock. Now, this is a very nice deal. It's a bit of a bare bones motherboard, but our budget isn't very high on this build, so that's kind of what we have to go for. Yeah, it's obviously an all-white motherboard as well, so it's gonna fit nicely with our aesthetics. There's not much to say about it, as it doesn't really include much, but we have two M.2 slots, we can add Wi-Fi, and it's only got 2 RAM slots, but that won't really matter. Now, we can take our CPU, and then we can pull back this lever, open it up, take our CPU out, and then just lines right up here, and should just carefully slide in. And then we can put this back. And then with some force, should be able to secure that in. Now we can move on to our RAM. This is from KingBank, a very affordable kit. Now this kit right here is one of the more budget-friendly options, and man, does it look super clean as well. Make sure to push back all the RAM slots, and then we can line it up and hear that click. Basically, this RAM is 32 gigabytes at 6,000 mega transfers, which is just the standard that I recommend. This one I'd recommend if you just want to buy something affordable on Amazon that's still going to deliver and look pretty clean. Also with this RGB, which you'll see later. Now we can move on to our NVMe. This one I got a while back in a bundle. It doesn't really matter what 1 terabyte NVMe you use. I would just pay as close to $50 as possible. Now the sticker comes separate. Anyways, it's gonna look something like this. Then you can kind of just slide it right in, push it down, and then using an M.2 screw that came with the motherboard, you can just screw it in. And one of my favorite deals as of late is this air cooler from Osipus. Now for a quick interruption, I ended up changing the cooler to an AIO. And the reason why I did this is when I tested the PC, which you'll see later, the temperatures were a little too high for my liking. Definitely still usable. Just when it goes to closer to 100% utilization, it gets pretty hot. So yeah, ended up replacing it and we saw about 15 degrees cooler. So I just recommend an AIO for the 13th and 14th generation Intels. This has been in my past like 3 videos. And yes, you're gonna see more in the future. I got a whole bunch of these when they were on a good deal. So we can just go open this up and then we can take out all of these goodies for our Intel motherboard. First, we're going to install this bracket to the back of our motherboard. Oh, I swear this is way harder than it should be. Now we can empty our screw bag and we're going to want to take these standoffs and just screw all these new screws in. Then we take these brackets right here and then line them up like so. Kind of like any other cooler would be. And then we could use these little screws to finish screwing them in. Now we could use this silly thermal paste, but I'm just gonna use my own. Now a nice little line should be just fine. Anyways, now peel off the plastic. Then we can kind of just line this cooler up with the screws and equally screw them in. Now the last thing to do is plug in our CPU fan and we're done. And here we have our case, which is the DIY PC AirGB Q3R2W, not a robot from Star Wars, but this is a pretty nice case. I have used this once before in a video I made like a year ago, and it should be perfect for our build. Yeah, this case is exactly how I remember it. Anyways, I got a little screw bag right here and the manual. And it looks like we could now install our motherboard. So yeah, first things first, I'm gonna take the IO shield, and snap it in. I'm gonna take the standoff remover tool, and there are other ways to remove standoffs, and this does not come with the case unfortunately, but I do have to move the standoff 1 level lower here, and basically you'll know depending on where the holes line up with your motherboard. And now we could slot it in, and it looks like everything's up in place. Now taking the screw bag, we can take these screws for our motherboard and we can just screw them all in now. all screwed in. Now I'm just gonna route these cables to the back here. Now let's just untangle this. So first things first, I'm gonna route the HD audio here to the bottom right, bottom left of the motherboard. And then the USB towards the middle. Then our front panel, we have these connectors here. Route through the bottom left here, which is on the bottom right of the motherboard. And then with our USB 3.0, our USB-C does not connect to this motherboard, unfortunately, but there are adapters for that. We're gonna route this towards the left side here, to the right of the motherboard. And now something super simple to do right now is take this RGB cord. Basically, it's connected to all the fans, so we can just connect the two, because we're gonna wanna sync them anyways. We can just route it through here and plug it into our motherboard. And I'm gonna show you a little cheat strategy right here. Basically, I'm gonna plug in these cable extensions before I plug in the power supply. Now, you don't need cable extensions, but I'm just using them because they make the build look way nicer. And basically, these are just like $12 cables you can get on AliExpress from Formula Mod. Now, we can move on to our power supply. And again, I'm using this MSI Mag A650BN. Nice Tier C rounds power supply. Got it for like $50 plus tax a while back. And sometimes you can find them at this deal. I would just pay around that price for any Tier C or more unit. And yeah, it is plenty for our GPU. Now, all I have to do is just line it up like so. And then we can take our screws that came in whatever bag you want. Just make sure they are the thickest screws you can. And then yeah, just easily screws into the side here. Now we can also go through what to plug in where. These obviously line up the motherboard power. Either you route it through the same place that I routed the cable extension, or you just plug it in. And then with our CPU, we could do the same. And then with our PCIe, this one's gonna be a little bit trickier as we have to route it through the bottom. Then we just need to plug in this one singular SATA port. And that's pretty much everything done, just not the GPU. And it is of course the Intel Arc B580. And yeah, this GPU at MSRP is still really good price to performance. I will say this packaging does not get old. Now I got a little ahead of myself. We still gotta remove this bracket here and wiggle this one out. And now, popping back our NVMe. First, I'm gonna attach our cable extension. Again, now is carefully slot in our GPU. Use a thicker screw to screw it back in. And it just easily snaps in. And there it is for now. Yeah, just like always, time to test it out in some games. Here we have the best game of all time, Fortnite Battle Royale. I don't know why I dropped this early, but we are running 1440p, performance mode, low settings. This is definitely just the default standard besides 1080p that people run this game. Oh my gosh, I sweat. Anyway, in this game, we have been getting a lot of frames. You've just been seeing it over 300, 400 at times. It can get below 300, but I don't think that really matters, especially at this budget. I mean, that is more than enough. You're never gonna need that. I bet at endgame this performs very well as well. So if you're playing competitive Fortnite, this is definitely good enough. I'm gonna switch to 1080p. Yeah, I mean, I think there's more frames. I'd assume there is, but it doesn't really matter. It's a lot. It's actually too many frames, to be honest. Trash. Okay, that guy was low, I guess. Oh, all right, we are running Marvel Rivals. We have 1440p Intel XCSS super resolution on, and then just low settings along with that. Basically, this is just the settings I recommend at 1440p. And yeah, we are getting some pretty good frames so far. And yeah, I mean, obviously this game is running pretty smoothly. Wait, I actually just got saved, low-key. But honestly, it is dropping close to that 100 FPS mark here. I don't really know what's going on, to be honest, so. But yeah, now we're getting like 150, so I really don't know. It's a bit inconsistent here. And wow, yeah, the FPS definitely dropped there quite a bit. So I'm not really sure where this actually was. For the most part, I was getting above 100 FPS, but then it started going down when a lot happened. All right, now we're running some 1080p, and we can already see a big FPS jump. There isn't much going on here, so that could be one of the reasons. And yeah, it dropped back down to like 140. So it is obviously very inconsistent, even at 1080p. Very playable though. I think with a few settings tweaks, potentially this could be at better FPS. Now we got some Cyberpunk. We're gonna run it at the high preset with Intel resolution scaling. And yeah, this is just gonna be on quality. See how it does. We got 104 FPS on average. It's actually pretty good, especially at 1440p. We're gonna hit it with a low ray tracing preset though. I just wanna see how ray tracing can perform. You shouldn't get this PC for ray tracing, but let's see if it even works, I guess. And 91 FPS is actually pretty decent. Obviously, if you want to run ray tracing low, it does have high texture quality. Then that is what you would get. I don't recommend it though. Anyways, I just want to try out low settings and then 1080p and see what happens. 161 FPS. Yeah, you definitely don't need that. So this game ran pretty good. Definitely playable at a lot of different settings. And that is a wrap. Anyways, just final thoughts on this PC. Everything I feel like works very well. Obviously the pricing right now is a bit weird. If you're seeing this around Black Friday or you're planning on buying this around Black Friday, I definitely still recommend that. Just right now, pricing can be super weird. So I don't want to misdirect anyone with any of these prices, as these are the prices I got them for, just with the RAM and SSD. Don't know where the prices are going to go with those. But for the rest of the build, I recommend it. For the Intel CPU, I did only buy it because it was a good price at the moment. It's still a good CPU if you can get around that price. I see these with bundles all the time, whether it's Newegg or Micro Center. And the GPU, the Intel Arc B580, is still one of the best price to performance GPUs. And if you can find a good price on the motherboard, which I'm sure you can, just maybe a different model, it's gonna be pretty hard to copy this entire thing, but don't worry, my build guide still helps even though you might have a different motherboard, for example. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and feel free to leave comments. I will be reading them.